Today I'll be discussing Bonanno captain Sonny Black Napolitano, whose murder was the direct result of the FBI's investigation into the Bonanno family. There's much more to unravel, so let's get into it. Dominick Napolitano hailed from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, an area that borders Greenpoint and Bedford-Stuyvesant, and one he would eventually rule. At an early age, his hair turned prematurely gray, so he began dyeing it, hence the nickname Sonny Black. He spent his early years with the Bonanno family as an associate of Mike Sabella's crew. It's more than likely Sonny Black was inducted into the family sometime after the books reopened in 1976. Following an FBI operation known as Sun Apple that was based on infiltrating hijackers and their fences, in September 1976, Agent Joseph Pistone took on a new assignment in an undercover capacity using the name Donnie Brasco. Brasco's backstory was that he was a jewel thief. Posing as Brasco, he would eventually meet Bonanno member Tony Mira, and through his association with Mira, he met Benjamin Lefty Guns Ruggiero, who at the time was just inducted into the family. Brasco would wind up with Ruggiero after he poached him from Mira and made him his associate. Mira consequently tried making a beef over it in an attempt to reclaim Brasco, but the Bonanno bosses ruled against him, and Brasco remained with Ruggiero. Around this time, the Bonanno family was splintered into two factions, one loyal to Rusty Rastelli, the boss of the family, who was in prison, and the other faction loyal to Carmine Galante, who had taken control of the family and kind of self-appointed himself as the boss. The commission, not happy with Galante at all, would approve his murder, and on July 12, 1979, Galante was dining at Joe and Mary's Italian-American restaurant in Bushwick, Brooklyn, when he was slaughtered. Following Galante's death, anyone close to Galante that had a position, including Sabella, was knocked down. As a result, Sonny Black was made the captain of Sabella's crew. Nevertheless, the family split into two factions once again. This time, it was those loyal to Rusty Rastelli, with the other faction being Alphonse Indelicato, Dominick Trinchera, and Philip Giacone, who were all captains in the family. Sonny Black and Captain Joe Messino, both who were Rastelli loyalists, would make a plot to move against the opposing faction. Since Brasco was an associate of Ruggiero, naturally he mingled with the rest of Sonny Black's crew, which Ruggiero was a part of. The crew's home base was Sonny Black's social club, the Motion Lounge, located at 420 Graham Avenue in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Sonny Black owned the entire building and kept an apartment there, as well as his pigeon coop that he had up on the roof. And he loved his pigeons, which were not ordinary pigeons. These birds came from pedigree bloodlines. He would race them against pigeons owned by other wise guys. Sonny Black's crew was replete with big earners and considered one of the family's strongest and wealthiest crews, involved in hijackings, burglaries, bank robberies, drug dealing, and the usual gambling, loan sharking, extortion, etc. Up to this point, Pistone, in his role as Brasco, accumulated mountains of evidence and audio recordings by being in the inner circle of Sonny Black's crew. But it would be an investigation by the FBI in Florida that would ultimately bring Brasco closer to Sonny Black himself. That investigation also began in 1979 and was codenamed Coldwater, which was a translation of the last name of James Acquafrida, a Gambino associate who owned Gulf Coast Karting. The investigation aimed at targeting New York wise guys who were in Florida and committing crimes such as illegal gambling. One of the main targets was Tampa boss Santo Trafficante Jr. The FBI had agents posing as wise guys, one being Edgar Robb, who went by his undercover name Anthony Tony Rossi. The FBI wanted Brasco to lure the Bonannos down to Florida, and he managed to accomplish this by having a chance encounter with Edgar Robb posing as Rossi while he was in Ruggiero's company. During the conversation, Rossi mentioned that he leased a club in Florida and needed help. Naturally, Ruggiero's ears perked up as it was an opportunity to make money. In turn, he went to his captain, Sonny Black, and received permission to go down to Florida. The club was in Tampa, called the King's Court, and was a tennis and bottle club located north of the county line on US 19. King's Court was an upscale place and for members only. The club was wired for sound and video, compliments of the FBI, who had a command post in an apartment nearby. During Ruggiero's first visit on March 26, 1980, he spotted Aquafida standing with Rossi. After making an announcement that he was going to be a partner in the place, he told Aquafida, "I'm from downtown Madison Street. I'm with Rusty Rastelli," which is surprising since he didn't know him and was basically telling him that he was straightened out, which he's not supposed to do. According to reports, Aquafrida was listed as someone who was very helpful to the investigation, although they fall short of referring to him as an informant. It was determined that Ruggiero would be a partner, after which he told Rossi, "You now have peace of mind, but it's going to cost you." They agreed that Ruggiero would receive an initial payment of $3,000 and $250 per week for providing protection of the club. When Sonny Black first visited the club, according to reports, Ruggiero introduced him by saying, "This is Sonny, my skipper." Again, very surprising that he would announce who Sonny Black was. Sonny Black wanted Rossi to conduct business, specifically loan sharking and bookmaking, in Florida under the Bonanno flag. And he told Rossi, "Don't be flamboyant so people won't notice you." Before conducting official business in Florida, Sonny Black set up a meeting to speak with Santo Trafficante. That meeting took place on June 5th, 1980, but instead of taking Ruggiero with him, he took Brasco. The meeting was a success and cemented Sonny Black's relationship with Trafficante by guaranteeing him that he would receive a cut of the action. Apparently, Ruggiero was extremely down and in a bad mood over being left out, and when Brasco returned to New York, he contacted him and told Ruggiero that he was still with him. However, Sonny Black began spending more and more time with Brasco. He took a liking to him. Brasco began going up to Sonny Black's apartment, even spending nights there. They both enjoyed exercising and would work out together, even testing their strength by arm wrestling. They went out for drinks and dinner and had long conversations. Sonny Black explained to Brasco how a captain every day has someone looking to dispose of him and how you had to be on your toes. In essence, he was schooling Brasco to the ways of the life. Brasco learned that Sonny Black had a collection of hand grenades and weapons and was an excellent shot. In his opinion, Sonny Black was a lot more disciplined than his former captain Sabella. His view of Sonny Black was someone always in deep thought and very aware of his surroundings. He found him to be polite and respectful, but also knew he'd kill you in a minute. They developed a tight relationship, one that was not lost on Ruggiero or other members of the family. Sonny Black decided he wanted to have casino nights at the King's Court. The last one that was held was on January 17, 1981, and Sonny Black was present and laid out $10,000 for the casino's bank. At some point during that night, deputies of the Pasco County Sheriff's Department crashed the King's Court and arrested everyone. The Sheriff's Department was unaware of the FBI's operation. After being released, Sonny Black told Rossi, "Tony, I ought to cut your fucking throat. You've embarrassed me in front of my people in New York and embarrassed me with the crew in Florida." More than likely, he was under the impression that Rossi had paid off the cops, so nothing like this would ever happen. Back in New York, the Rastelli faction decided to deal with the three captains. A meeting was set up by Joe Massino under the pretense of an olive branch to make peace between the two factions. The meeting would take place on May 5th, 1981, at the 2020 Club in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn. The three captains showed up, and waiting for them was Massino, Sonny Black, and other Bonanno members, including members of their Canadian faction. And as most of us know, no sooner did the captains walk in, were they all slaughtered. Following the murders, Brasco had a taped conversation on May 14, 1981, with Sonny Black. Sonny Black told him, "We took care of those three guys. They're gone." He then told Brasco that he wanted him to find Indelicato's son, Bruno, who was scheduled to come to that fateful meeting, but never showed up. He said, "If you find him, hit him. You get the chance to take him, you take him, and you could leave him right on the street." The Rastelli faction believed that Bruno fled to Miami, Florida. As a result of that conversation, the FBI decided to pull the plug on the Donnie Brasco operation on July 26, 1981. This was despite the fact that Pistone believed Sonny Black was going to induct him into the family. Obviously, the FBI wasn't going to let one of the agents participate in a murder. even though they would have loved to have their agent be inducted. Immediately after pulling Pistone off the street, FBI agents visited the Motion Lounge and pulled Sonny Black to the side. They showed him a photo and asked him, "Do you know Donnie Brasco and Tony Rossi?" Sonny Black allegedly acknowledged knowing both of them. They then told him that they were FBI agents. They also told him they were concerned about his safety because he would potentially have a problem with his family. They then offered him a business card, but Sonny Black told them, "You know better than anybody that I can't take that, but I know how to get a hold of you." Of course, this is the FBI's version of the conversation. Following their meeting, they still conducted surveillance on Sonny Black after breaking the news to him. He met with other Bonanno members outside the Motion Lounge and then went to inform the family's administration of what took place. Later, he was spotted outside his pigeon coop, looking very concerned, as if he knew what was coming. A few weeks later, on August 17, 1981, Sonny Black was summoned to a meeting. Before going, he removed his jewelry and handed them to the bartender in the Motion Lounge. He also handed over his apartment key, which led to his pigeon coop. He was worried about his birds being fed. As he was leaving, he told the bartender, "I gotta go, and I'm probably not coming back." An hour prior to that meeting, Bonanno member Frank Copa went to pick up Kentucky Fried Chicken for the members of the hit team who were waiting inside of a house in Staten Island. Messino instructed Frank Lino, a captain, to pick up Sonny Black in front of a Bay Ridge, Brooklyn steakhouse. In the car with him was Steve Canone, the family's consigliere. Back at the house, the hit team set up tables and chairs in the basement where they planned to shoot Sonny Black at that table. When they arrived at the house, Frank Copa greeted them at the door. Frank Lino then led Sonny Black to the basement stairs. But while they were going down, someone accidentally slammed the door that was meant to trap Sonny Black in the house. And Frank Lino, who was walking behind him, panicked and grabbed his shoulders and shoved him down the stairs. Sonny Black landed on the basement floor, and Robert Lino Sr., Frank's cousin, ran up to him and squeezed the trigger of his gun, but it jammed. Just then, Ronald Filicomo, a Bonanno associate, shot Sonny Black. And Sonny Black, who was still alive, yelled out, "Hit me one more time and make it good." Filicomo shot him twice in the face. The Bonannos had a van outside, which Stevie Canone was now sitting in with other guys, one being George from Canada. They were waiting just in case something went wrong and wanted to make sure Sonny Black didn't walk out alive. Frank Copa handed Canone Sonny Black's keys, most likely his car keys. Then he walked up the block to where Messino was parked in the car. Messino asked him if everything was okay. And when Copa told him it was, Messina said that he would see him tomorrow and pulled away. Back at the house, they were placing Sonny Black's body into a body bag that a friend from a funeral parlor gave them. They had a pre-dug grave, which was in a wooded section near South Avenue in Staten Island. By the time they reached the location, it was 9 p.m. and dark, and they couldn't find the hole. So instead, they placed the body in a wooded area by a stream. On August 12, 1982, the badly decomposed remains of Sonny Black was found at South Avenue and Bridge Street in that woody, marshy area. Both his hands had been severed, supposedly symbolizing that he shook hands and welcomed an FBI infiltrator. Let me quickly mention the super thanks icon found in the 3-dot dropdown beneath the video for anyone who'd like to show appreciation for videos like this. According to testimony from Joe Messino, Sonny Black's death was in regard to the belief that he was making a move to take over the family. Another example of how treacherous Messino was. Following the murder of the 3 captains, it's believed Rusty Rastelli put Sonny Black, who was very close to him, in an acting boss or street boss position, which had to absolutely enrage Messino, who always had his eye on the boss position. There possibly was a chance that Sonny Black was getting a pass on the Donnie Brasco fiasco. After all, it honestly wasn't his fault and could have happened to anyone. But Messino, doing his usual by looking to eliminate anyone he felt stood in his way, created a story that Sonny Black was making a move to take over. And naturally, he got approval from Rastelli to take him out. Regardless, at the end of the day, it was the FBI who knowingly caused Sonny Black's death because they fully knew anyone who accepted Donnie Brasco, their lives were in jeopardy. But for the FBI, people's lives are unimportant. What's important to them is just making cases.